Well, the next sidebar is what it's like to be a father and what it's like to have a family. As I had mentioned earlier, three sons and a daughter. And I'll tick them off by rank and peculiarities or not. Dave is the oldest one, and he was a joy. He was a smiley baby. He was a happy baby, and we had a lot of fun. And I don't think Dave ever really got over having fun because he's still fun. And I think he's 58, 57, 58, whatever that is. It's not past the age of having fun, I know that. And after he left the company, he decided to beat up the golf ball. And I know that he's got a home at Sycamore Hills Country Club, and he has ownership into the country club, and he's having a good time. And he's got two sons, Nate and Maddie. And Nate is a commercial photographer doing quite well, building a clientele. He lives in Los Angeles, and he seems to be working with a lot of rock stars and whoever needs their picture taken. And Maddie's still in school, so his future is somewhat undetermined and will be until things work out. So there's part of the thing. There's my oldest son. His wife is Deborah, and they've been married for, I know, at least 30 years. So next one up is Doug. And Doug is about 14 months younger than Dave. And in the era that we were producing families, it was fashionable to have one right away. It must have been fashionable because everybody got caught up in it. So, and Doug, he was really kind of the total opposite of Dave. Doug is more of a technical person, studious. He liked athletics. He played football and he wrestled. One of his better sports was as a wrestler, and done a lot of track events, and that seemed to be his sweet spot. And he was a relatively good student, and he was part of the company here as part of the founding generation, as was John. And John was really the original, and he is a graduate machinist from Ivy Tech, and he helped establish a lot of the standards for 80/20 and some of the cool little devices like our bearings and so on. And he has a family of two. He's got a daughter, Emily, and he's got, well, let's back up on Doug here a minute. Doug has three daughters and one son. And the daughters, in fact, the oldest one has surprised the family with a son that I'd mentioned earlier, Eddie. And Eddie is the first great-grandchild. And Christine is temporarily finding her way back into the career track. So as of this delivery, I'm not quite sure where she is. But she's a pretty girl, and all the girls are married now, and Kendra is married to Jerry Tipman, and they have no children. And Kelly married, I'll have to come back to this. And John is up in is Kalamazoo. He built a beautiful home on the lake on the at Kalamazoo, and he has an 18-year-old daughter and a 16-year-old son, and they're all in school and doing quite well. So John, he's taking care of his investments and living a pretty good life, I think. And if he isn't, I kind of wonder why. So, you know, but everybody has to find their own way. Everybody has to have their own passion. And it seems that they have fairly well found that. The children are doing okay in school. And I'm trying to put together. So, what is their future? I don't know. That is to do what they think they need to do and do it well. So, well, as a father, and I was always a proud father, and you know, you go to the wrestling matches and the track meets and all this sort of thing, and you stick with your kids in their endeavors. But eventually, they have to leave the nest, and they've done so quite well. I think they're all pretty well established. And I didn't mention Sue, my daughter, and she has had all sorts of endeavors. And to date, I'm not sure at this taping just exactly what she's doing. I know she's living in Michigan. She's living. John has given her a place in his home, and what the next move is, time will tell. And we'll make a separate tape for Sue. So you're not being slighted. What role model did I see in determining my own family? And it's kind of like back to the early statements about paying attention and forming your own idea, forming your own way of seeing what kind of a family you'd want, and then following that path. So what it is kind of a potpourri of a consortium of ideas and observations that you feel are appropriate to meet your family's needs. So it's kind of like, it's on-the-job training. It's OJT is what it is. And you got to go do it before you know what works and what doesn't work. And unfortunately, along the way, and it's kind of like a song out of the Rhinestone Cowboy, and it kind of goes this way. There's a load of compromising on the road to my horizon, but I'm going to be where the sun is shining on me. And that's really the philosophy, and then you'll build your own thing from that philosophy. And that philosophy came from Ben Campbell, who is still looking for his cigar stacked behind the couch somewhere.